Hello and welcome. I'm Ashley, the creator of Your Light in Darkness podcast. And today we're going to talk about how to find yourself outside of work, family, and others' expectations. I want to begin today with a quote. Healing may not be so much about getting better as about letting go of everything that isn't you. All of the expectations, all of the beliefs, and becoming who you are. This is a quote by Rachel Naomi Remen, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, Rachel. So, during this time, it's more important than ever to get to know who you are. As you all know, if you witness, if you are living anywhere in this world listening to this, the world is in mass chaos. Things are constantly twisting and turning, and all of the news reports are doom, gloom, bad, which they've always been. If you're listening to me now, I encourage you to turn off the news, because all it's going to do is keep anxiety rising in you, fear, doubt, concern, fear. I said fear because that's what it's designed to do. But we'll talk about stuff like that in another episode. I want to stay focused on this one. But, you know, things are changing rapidly. And it's just a mass ball of this, that, everything. This is not good. That's not good. People upset. People not liking what's going on. Policies and all of this stuff. And it's confusing. So you need to know who you are to have stable footing. Because when you know who you are, you will stay the course of what you are, who you are, what you're meant to do, and who you are at your core. It won't matter if this thing comes in and disrupts everything around you, because you'll be stable and sure in who you are. But as easy as that sounds, it's easy on the surface, but for many it's a challenge. It is such a challenge because in the way that society is set up, most people don't have the chance to sit and really get to know themselves. Most are defined by life status, such as work, children, family, by your titles. You've been going so long, so hard, so I need to achieve this and I need to do that. My job says I'm good at this, so I'm going to go for this. And I have my children. I'm a mother. I'm a father. My family said I'm this. And so you stick by that, by the titles, by the roles that are given to you, but you feel uneasy. You know deep down inside that's not really who you are. So after the titles, you're defined by what your dominant family said you were. Again, your mother. What did your mother say you were? What did your father say you were? What did your sister, your cousin, your grandmother, grandfather, all of those people, teachers? These things could be positive things or negative things. It just depends. And then even going further, after you're defined by the titles, after you're defined by what your family said, friends, people around you, you get defined by how others treated you. Your friends, your classmates, associates, strangers, your mother, your father. They may say one thing, but they treat you another way. And this is the stuff that sticks with us outside of the words, outside of the kind letters and notes and all of that stuff is how you get treated. Because you internalize the treatment and defined who you are, your worth, if you're worthy of love, respect, what your inherent value is, and so much more. So can you see how if you growing up from the ages of 1 or birth to 7, you are around your family and you're taking in the feelings, the vibes, the traits, the characteristics, the actions of the family. You're absorbing this stuff like a sponge. And then you get out there and you begin to get out into the world. You're going to school. You're going to organizations, extracurriculars, all of these things. And you're being treated a certain way. You absorb all of this. Then you're coming back home to mom and dad or grandma and granddad or whoever it is. And you internalize how you're treated. Let me give you a personal example. Growing up in elementary school, I hated physical education. And I hated physical education not so much because of the physical part, but because every time we got together, I was often one of the last chosen. And being one of the last chosen, I didn't know at that time how something like that would affect me as I grew up, but it did. That feeling that I felt and the memory that I held on to as I was growing up and venturing out into different areas would resurface in the form of, well, I'm doing this and I think I do this really good, but I don't think my paper is going to be good enough. Or I know how to do this job really good and I actually would qualify for this higher position, but they're not going to choose me. Or I have this great business idea and I do all this work, but I'm scared to get it out there in the world because no one's going to choose my stuff. Look at all of these other people. They have the idea and they're doing it so great. So why would they choose me? Or, well, I know I'm with this person and they do all this great stuff for me and they show me that they love me, but I don't really think they care about me. This is how something, when you take it from a very small child level, grows into something huge as an adult. And it all has to do with self-worth and self-value and self-love. This is how the actions of others can define us. And I know that each of you listening to me has some type of personal story like that. If you look back, it might have been when you were a very small child and you were somehow rejected by one of your parents in some way. Or in school. School causes a lot of trauma. I'm going to talk about school at some point. But school, you know, this social construct that we go to as children, unless you had parents that chose to homeschool or put you in private school, you were in some type of public institution to be socialized and learn. So that causes a lot outside of the learning. a lot of our first traumas, if you didn't have a trauma in your childhood home, a lot of our first traumas occur in public school settings because you are being forced together by children of different backgrounds, and you don't know what they're learning or picking up at school, or at home, and everyone just comes together, and yeah, you make some friends, but there's a whole lot of other stuff that comes, and that's talked about in some ways in regards to bullying, but there are other things that occur in that social construct that lead to how you define your self-worth and self-value. It can come from teachers, principals, administrators, other children. It doesn't matter. It happens. It can come from your own family, your mother, your father, siblings, cousins, grandma, granddad, aunt, uncle. So many different things attribute to how you initially define your self-worth. And I want you to really sit and think about that. Because depending on how you saw yourself, how you internalized these things that could have happened to you growing up, this is your who am I statement. And so you take that from your youth and bring it all the way to whatever age you are now. If you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, hell, 60s, you take that and these very beginnings, if you have not sat and intentionally healed, done healing work around who you are and early woundings, you've been carrying that all your life. That's potent. That's potent. So if up until this point you haven't begun to do the work, now you need to do it. Because I'm telling you, this world that we are in, that, that's going on out there, is only going to get more chaotic because that's the time it's in. Things have to be torn down, broken apart, become chaotic, truths unveiled in order for it to be put together. Again, we're in a different time. It is a time for you to go within, not be focused on the external, but the internal. So, I'm going to give you a few journal questions that will help you begin the process of discovering who you are, seeing who defines you, because this is going to help you as you go along. You need to face a thing in order to heal a thing. You can't run from it, and you can't say that you're okay, everything's going to be all right, this and that, without doing the work. There's some work that has to be done from you on your physical side, and then spiritually, your spirit team, once you allow them in, ask for help and guidance, they will surely begin to assist you. They will surely begin to speak to you in a number of ways. You have to know that in order for you to believe it. You have to know that they are there, and as you keep going on, you'll begin to see what you need to work on so you can be the most self-loved you can possibly be. So, here are the questions. Number 1, who does your job say you are? We're going to just start from the very current place. Who does your job say you are? Are you happy with that definition of you? If not, what would you change? Why are you even at that job? Is it because you like it? or because it looks good for someone else. It's impressive. It looks good. I look like I have it together. Is it that? Okay. So the first category is all about the job. I'll repeat the questions. So in case you didn't catch them the first time, who does your job say you are? Are you happy with that definition of you? If not, what would you change? Why are you even at that job? Is it because you like it or because it looks good to someone else? All right. Next, we're going to talk about your roles. We want to focus on your roles in life. Who are you outside of your children? I love my children. I know you love your children. But particularly as mothers, speaking from a mother standpoint, we can really get defined by the role of a mother and forget who we are outside of the role. Outside of the role of a wife, a partner, girlfriend, whatever you want to say. For my men listening to me, same thing. Who are you outside of being a father, a husband, a partner, a boyfriend, whatever title you gave yourself? It's natural to get wrapped up in these roles, but there are things that you like to do, that you want to hold on to, that you want to learn and explore. There are things that you're here to do in addition to being a parental figure or in your marriage, partnership, or whatever. So who is that person? When you step away from your roles in life, what lights you up? What would you change? What do you need? And what do you really desire? Those questions again. Who are you outside of your children? When you step away from your roles, from your role as a husband, a wife, a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, a grandmother, a grandfather, what lights you up? What would you change? What do you need? And what do you really desire? All right. And now we're going to go into life experiences. This is the third section. What has life told you you are? If you sum up all of your experiences, what is the common theme? We all have one. What has been repeated to you over and over? Do you like it? Are you agreeing with it? What would you like life to say about you instead? So this is all about those treatments you've received, those feelings that you felt from others that words don't say, but their actions do. how people treat you when you're out in public, how people treat you based off of their first assumptions of you, the things you have or have not received, how strangers receive you. That's what this section is all about. We all have a pattern that follows us. And if you don't like it, you have the power to change it, but you first have to define it and face it. So I'm going to go over these questions again. What has life told you you are? If you sum up all of your experiences, what is the common theme? We all have one. What has been repeated to you over and over? Do you like it? Are you agreeing with it? What would you like life to say about you instead? These are beginning questions to ask to assess yourself and to see if you are who you are or if you are as someone else determined you to be, and how these experiences has shaped your internal feeling of your self-worth, self-love, and self-value. I hope that you learned something from this episode. I hope you have taken away and taken to heart what I'm sharing with you. On the surface, seeing questions like these seem easy to answer, but when you really sit down and allow your heart to flow, so much will come out. So prepare for that. Take the time to really go deep and think about your answers. Don't just rush through this. This is a process, and this is for you. This is solely for you so that you can heal. Because as you heal, you not only change yourself, but you will notice how everything and everyone around you begins to respond to you differently based off of how you see yourself. This is 100% the truth. As you are doing your journaling, I want you to think about this that I'm about to read to you from the How to Love Yourself cards. This is from Louise Hay. And remember this as you're journaling. I use my words and thoughts as tools to shape my future. Life is very simple. I create my experiences by thinking and feeling patterns. What I believe about myself and about life becomes true for me. So as you're doing this journaling and you're beginning the process of healing, know that what you are remembering and noting, defining, that this is you getting it out so that you can begin to see where you are and shape your future as you desire it to be. Just because things are one way now, it doesn't mean it has to stay that way. You have the power to change it, but you have to start with seeing and healing the parts that no longer fit you and where you're going. Thank you for joining me today. It is an absolute pleasure and honor to serve you. I want you to know that everything you need is all inside of you. And those things that are external will come to you. Know that. Continue on your path to healing. Make sure that you tune back in, because I have something special in the works for you all to help you through this process. Something that I'm creating that I believe would have been very beneficial to me as I was doing and continue to do my own healing. I always say, you'll hear me say in many of my episodes, that healing is lifelong, because when you think that one area is healed, something else pops up. These triggers pops up, and it's good. It might not feel good, but it's good because it shows what we need to work on to be our true, authentic selves. Know that you are worthy. You are valuable. You are loved. Self-love is the highest form of love. And with that, I will speak to you in the next episode.